Good afternoon, everybody. On this Monday, November 3rd, 2025, I got all of your stories for your rush hour ride home. We've got conspiracy, we've got government shutdown, we've got pop culture, Thanksgiving, and a Blake Lively update. We have it all. So I hope you made it through your workday with your sugar hangover. I know I'm craving all of the candy that I'm not letting my kid eat, but here I am trying to get back into ketosis. Not easy, folks. Before we get into the Blake Lively story, which essentially is just going to be the fallout of what went down over the weekend on Halloween. There was an article that came out which completely misrepresented what's going on in the case, and I'm going to have a continued conversation about that. We've also got a tragic update to the monkeys that crashed in Mississippi. No, that's an actual monkeys. They crashed out of a truck and they were running around, and sadly, one of them was shot and killed, so we'll get into that story. And then Candace Owens on the back half of this episode continues to discuss her theories about what happened to Charlie Kirk. More interesting, though, is one of the sort of mentors from Turning Point USA calling out Candace, not by name, but shots definitely fired. We'll get into all of these stories and more, and it starts right now on The Rush. How about some positivity to start the episode off with? How about that? There's something called the last over the line. It is the last person to finish the marathon, usually very late into a race, but it really goes to show running a marathon, not even finishing a marathon, but trying to get through a marathon, is winning in and of itself. And here's the moment that I guess a double amputee crosses the finish line. He's got what I think is the Colombian flag there, and they sing the national anthem for him. It's a real moment. I mean, an absolute real moment to see the journey that people go on without even knowing his story, without knowing anybody's story. To get 26.2 miles from start to finish is always a spiritual and physical journey. So congratulations to the last over the line, the first over the line, everyone in between, and for those deciding to run that race, both physically and metaphysically. Life is a race. And, very cool to see people stayed up, flashlights on for the last runner right there. Good stuff. Way to start the day off with, or start the episode off with something nice. How about this? New floats for Thanksgiving's Macy's Day Parade. Mario, Pac-Man, Shrek, and Buzz Lightyear are the new floats. Hopefully it's not a windy day. You don't want Buzz Lightyear to go to infinity and beyond. You want him to stay tethered, Buzz Lightyear, tethered and not beyond, at least not during the parade. Have a listen.
We have a great lineup. There are 32 balloons in this year's parade, but today we're showing off our new ones. So such a great lineup of new balloons. We have Mario, we have Pac-Man, we have an onion carriage for Shrek, which has 8 characters from Shrek on it, which is the most characters that have ever been featured on a balloon. And of course, Buzz Lightyear. These are such iconic characters, which is what we try to do every year, is really bring in the best in entertainment. And I think we've done it again.
There it is. There's your big update for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Wonderful stuff. Do you guys watch the parade? I like to see a bunch of theater arts people try not to freeze themselves as they, sing. They don't even sing live, do they? I wish they would all sing live on the Thanksgiving Day Parade. I'd rather hear a few notes off key than see you lip sync to, Les Miserables or whatever. All right, sad update. Mississippi missing monkeys. A terrified mom kills the monkey to protect the children. Now, at first I was thinking, this must have been horrible. Is the monkey like holding a kid or something? But as it turns out, the monkey just got within 60 feet from her home, and it was all to do with her 16-year-old son. Now, I'm not here to defend the monkeys, but these monkeys, what a tough racket, right? They crash. First of all, they were probably, they're being used for testing, I'm assuming. They were accused of having herpes, hepatitis C, and COVID, which is a real trifecta, trust me. Or, don't trust me. I don't know, but if I did, yikes, rough one, right? No emergency is going to save you from that concoction. But either way, they're roaming Mississippi. They're probably just trying to score some food, and then, some mom gets her done and goes in the backyard and shoots one of them. So a real tragic update. I don't know how many more monkeys are missing. I think there's a few more that are over there, but 21 monkeys escaped the vehicle. And like I've said before, these monkeys, they could put up a good fight. They can, they could push you around, but give them a fighting shot. You know what I mean? All right, let's move it on from there. So we've got Katie Pope, Katie Pope. We've interviewed her, good friend of the program, love what she does, discussing this Taylor Lorenz tweet right into the Blake Lively stuff. This was very interesting because Taylor Lorenz, again, also friend of the show. I like Taylor. I know people don't. She's strongly opinionated about a lot of different things, but I had a good conversation with her. We were able to talk about things we disagreed on. I thought it was good that I could speak to somebody that I was spatting with online and have a good conversation. I think more people should do that. But either way, Taylor tweeted this, and with all the reactionary Democrat and right-wing content creators who spent months participating in his smear campaign against Blake apologize and admit they were wrong? Of course not. Will they admit they were wrong? And again, this was based on a wrong article. It was based on misinformation. The article called Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively. The article and others they're just wrong. It says Justin Baldoni loses $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively after missing court deadline. Now, we already covered this morning why it's wrong, but as you can see, the link to these articles still exists. There's no update. Maybe at the bottom. It's just wild to think how bad journalism has gotten. I don't know if this was all because one article had misinformation and they all kind of cherry picked off of that. I really don't know. I don't even necessarily blame Taylor Lorenz for believing the article, because what are you supposed to do? Vet every single article? Well, if you're a journalist, yeah. And that's the problem, right? Is that there's so much content being worked on and endorsed and approved and shared that if you are a journalist, you do have to kind of live up to that standard of making sure it's correct. But dozens of people cover this story. I'm going to cover this more tomorrow, but I did want to share what Katie Pope had to say about why it's so dangerous to get this wrong. Have a listen.
This is insane. I know that TMZ had an article the other day, and now there's a Complex article. And now Taylor Lorenz is posting this, saying, can all of the people who've been smearing Blake Lively for the last months, and she calls them out as right-wing content creators, can they apologize?
To be fair, she also said Democrats.
Now, this is so off base. It's insane. First of all, there are many people that are not Team Lively that are by no means right-wing content creators. So the idea that they're trying to paint that, which they are, they're just trying to paint that.
Well, but Katie, I got to push back. She said Democrat and right-wing content creators. What's interesting, though, is she says Democrat and not Republican. So it's like right-wing doesn't mean Republican and Democrat doesn't mean left-wing. I mean, I understand that you kind of paint them into the same box, but this just goes to show that everyone has different opinions on things in life. You have right-leaning people that might have socially left-leaning ideas, and you might have left-leaning people that it's like that. You don't have to be anti-cancel culture and be right-leaning, and pro-cancel culture and be left-leaning. Like, we're all kind of amorphous, right? I thought so, at least.
That's part of their plan. Is insane. So we can start there. That's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to label the opposition. But I suppose the bigger thing here is that this is just so freaking wrong. Taylor Lorenz, he did not lose. The trial has not happened. Because if you're paying attention, it's not till next March.
Now, yes and no. And again, I'm more so on Katie Pope's side of this because it's wrong. Justin Baldoni the lawsuit was dismissed. The issue is that it is not over for him. He can still appeal it. That's the issue. His lawsuit is over. It was dismissed. The one where he's responding to Blake Lively's is in March. So it is more. This is the problem with Twitter, right? Is that it's a little bit more complicated than just a stupid tweet, right? But the point remains is that Taylor Lorenz is wrong here, and it's not over for Justin. And this little victory lap people took, it's like it's aging poorly.
Did he have some claims dismissed? Yes, but that was in June. Did he not refile the couple that he could have? Like, amend them? No. Again, that was also, I think, end of June. Here we are in November with these headlines. And they will always try to do this, and they will always try to group people together. That's that right wing.
Well, to be fair, Katie, you said they will always try to do this. Taylor Lorenz isn't right wing. I think she calls herself an independent. But either way, I don't think Taylor's part of a deep group of people that are all operating on the same side for some sort of nefarious reason. I think she believes Blake Lively. And when I had my conversation with Taylor Lorenz, it was interesting because we talked back and forth about a lot of things. And at the end, neither one of us changed our opinion. And then we went on about our day. We texted each other, good chat, and we, whatever. It pissed off some people, but again, I still live in a world where you can have those types of conversations. I mean, that basically describes Thanksgiving, right? A conversation with your relatives that changes nothing. We'll be back. We got a lot to get into. Stick around. Today's episode is sponsored by Veracity, an all-natural way to slim down, get energized, and sharpen your focus. Veracity is tackling the root cause of so many issues, metabolism. With Veracity's drug-free, clinically proven, and doctor-formulated solutions, you can support your body's needs to live your healthiest life. Try Metabolism Ignite, the #1 doctor-recommended GLP-1 booster and GLP-1 alternative. No side effects or allergens. Metabolism Ignite is a natural, safe, plant-based aid that results in an 85% reduction in hunger and is clinically proven to lose, on average, 9 pounds in 90 days. So what's in Veracity? It's a unique blend of lemon, verbena, and hibiscus extracts, green coffee bean extract, and magnesium. Veracity is safe to take along with GLP-1 medications to aid in boosting your metabolism and appetite control. Head to veracityselfcare.com and use code RUSHHOUR for up to 45% off your order. Once again, that's veracityselfcare.com for up to 40% off, and make sure you use my promo code RUSHHOUR so they know I sent you. Veracity doesn't just offer a quick fix for fatigue or weight gain. The products actually help you maintain a healthier lifestyle. It's the best kind of self-care. And again, we will have more on this tomorrow, a little bit more of the conversation around the political unity that actually has come from the Baldoni case. I think there's more unity than divide. We'll have that in the morning. Tomorrow might be a travel day for me, as I may be heading to San Francisco. We have updates on Laura Owens versus Clayton Echard. Now, she's supposed to go to San Francisco for Wednesday for her case against Mike Maricini. I've got fully refundable flights and hotels because I don't really believe it until I see it. But how about this? A docket update from Clayton's Justice on Twitter. They share that Laura versus Clayton, the paternity case, a minutes entry has been put on the docket. Judgment debtor exam, November 3rd, 2025. This is related to the motion for supplemental proceedings. Judgment debtor's exam filed by Zaddy Greg Woodnick, requesting a formal court-ordered session for Laura under oath to answer questions about her financial situation. We'll share the court documents when they are procured. This is interesting because, of course, Laura, when it was convenient for her, claimed she was so wealthy she could take anybody to court. She had hundreds of thousands of dollars ready for deposits in real estate properties, and now she's going, oopsie, I'm so broke, I can't pay my bills. When in fact, she owes Clayton a lot of money. I think upwards of $250,000 at this point. It's kind of goofy how much she owes him. So it'll be interesting to see under oath what she says about the money she has or doesn't have. Now, of course, her parents are filing for bankruptcy. If it's not approved, as far as I've been told, they could seize her home. That would be wild. I mean, I don't want to make anybody homeless, although I cannot get rid of the irony here where they try to make me homeless. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. I just want justice, which is why I will be in San Francisco on Wednesday. If you haven't already, join the Patreon for all the tea, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I'll try to do a live stream from the courthouse on Wednesday. It should be pretty chilly. I might have to have a turtleneck on, maybe bring my thermals. Either way, I'm sure it'll be a packed courthouse if she shows up. All right. Well, I've got a couple political stories to get to. How about this? Trump was being mocked by former President Barack Obama over his ballroom that he's building. Have a listen.
As for the president, he has been focused on critical issues like paving over the Rose Garden so folks don't get mud on their shoes, and gold plating the Oval Office and building a $300 million ballroom. So, Virginia, here's the good news. If you can't visit a doctor, don't worry. He will save you a dance.
And dancing is good if you're feeling sick. It releases a lot of endorphins. Maybe that's his healthcare plan. He's got a concept of a plan. It's like, this is like the Footloose remake nobody asked for. You're not allowed to dance, but Daddy, I'm sick. I need to dance.
You don't get an invitation to the next White House shindig. You can always watch the festivities and all the beautiful people on Truth Social.
Yeah, maybe they'll have like a conveyor where you can stand like one of those like walking streets or whatever they have at the airports, and they'll have the conveyor go by the window, and then you can just quickly see what's going on with your tax dollars. And you might say, well, no, our tax money didn't pay for the White House ballroom. That's true. It was with private donations by companies that had tax breaks so that they could pay off Donald Trump, right? So there it is. All right. Very good stuff. And so, yes, it's true. People are calling it AI. Very real video of a woman dancing in a giant glass at Trump's Mar-a-Lago Halloween party as SNAP benefits were being used to rip apart families. They were being held off as part of this government shutdown leverage here, even after a judge says start paying these people who need the help. This was at Mar-a-Lago. And again, geez, right? Whole bunch of people. It looks beautiful. Very nice there. I feel bad for the dancers who had to take that gig. They're like, really? I got to go do a dance? Oh, nice. I got a gig on Halloween. Where is it? Mar-a-Lago? Oh, man. I hope they don't have any videos of that. I hope the Rush Hour with Dave Neal doesn't share any videos of this event, because you can't blame the dancers. She's just cashing a paycheck. Who knew she'd be, doing some twirling inside of a martini glass? But here we are. So how about this reporting? Catherine Rampell shares the USDA, the Department of Agriculture, sent an email to grocery stores telling them they are prohibited from offering special discounts to customers affected by the SNAP funding lapse. I'm aware of at least 2 stores that had offered struggling customers a discount, then withdrew it after receiving this email. This is horrifying, folks. Someone said scoundrels. Cruelty is the point. So the retailers noticed. This is what they said. Reminder, SNAP authorized retailers must comply with the equal treatment rule. You must offer eligible foods at the same prices and on the same terms and conditions to SNAP customers as other customers. Now, my belief is that this rule was put into place so that they don't gouge people that are on SNAP, saying, oh, you're on SNAP here, you can afford to pay more. But in fact here, they're trying to give people that are SNAP beneficiaries a discount just to help them out because they need the help. And then the Department of Agriculture is saying, you can't help them out. And it's like, what's going on? Why do we have to live in such a cruel, cruel world? The richest country in the world. We have so much money available, and yet it is siphoned up to the billionaire class, to the ownership class. It's unreal, folks. People have said this, well, how come since the pandemic so many people are on SNAP? Because they're broke as shit. Because they don't have money. Because it's the brokest that the middle and lower class has ever been. They can't afford an emergency payment. They can't even go get a flu, get tested for COVID without, going bankrupt. So, yeah, people are broke. A lot of people lost their jobs during the pandemic and never got them back. It's the job, the effective salaries haven't gone up in decades. And a lot of people go, well, back in the 70s, I only was paid $8 an hour. You live for free, essentially. You know what I mean? Housing costs have skyrocketed. Health insurance has skyrocketed. People are broke as hell. And now we have the administration that's there to protect us saying, actually, don't give them a deal. Keep kicking them while they're down. Don't let them try to get up. It's a scary thing out there. All right. Next half of the episode, we're going to discuss this real beef going on from TP USA mentor to Candace Owens. We'll have this story next.